Okay, so for those of you that were here on time, thank you for coming and welcome. We will begin our training sessions. These sessions happen every Wednesday. You're more than welcome to join us every Wednesday, but it's just pretty much a review so that we can all be on phase one, which is just pretty much have a complete website with content. Along the way, I will start showing. I'll start showing you guys new tools because I know some of you are already have already added specific content. So eventually you will hear new tools. And then just as a reminder, all of my recordings, all of my sessions are recorded and they're uploaded onto my YouTube channel. So every Thursday, I send out an email called the Weekly Report. And every Thursday on that weekly report, you will have specifically like frequently asked questions that I get during the week, and some details or instructions on how to do specific tasks. For instance, a front page slideshow, and as well as a link to all of my YouTube videos. So make sure that you check that email every Thursday. And again, if you have any specific questions during the training session, please wait until the end of the training. You could choose to either send me an email, give me a phone call, just so that we just to avoid interruptions, because again, these sessions are recorded. So we will begin today's session. The first thing that I want you to
The
do
session's being recorded.
is to please turn off your mic and your headset, because that actually
All right, am I
just to
doing
avoid
that now?
feedback. So if right now I know there's someone there that didn't turn off their mic because I could hear them. So please just make sure that you turn off your mic and your headset. Otherwise, the rest of us will hear that echo. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you will go to the URL. It is http colon slash slash dcps.duvalschools.org/admin. Now mine has all of this because I hit enter, so then it redirects to this URL. But it should be the same URL as I will type here. So http. For those of you that just got here, that is the URL that you will need to log in. Your username and password should be the same that you use to log into your Outlook settings. So make sure that you use the exact username and password as your Outlook settings. Today, I don't know if I have someone from Annie Morgan, but I will be using your school just to do some testings, and I'll delete all of that stuff in the end. So I usually just pick a different school. So today I will work on Annie Morgan, so you guys can follow along with your school. So the first thing, once you log in, you can select your school from the drop-down list here. And once you do that, you would go ahead and click on Site Manager. Now, Site Manager will be, this is pretty much the back end of your website. So this is where you will do all of your changes, and all of your content will be done through Site Manager. If you do not see Site Manager, that means you're not logged in. So once you're in Site Manager, I will review what our expectations are in terms of apps on the home page. So I'm going to go ahead and click on home page. And these are some of the apps that we currently have here. So notice these were put in here by the district. So you cannot delete the district quick links because that is a shared app, and anything that's shared, you can't delete, but you can add your own. So in terms of apps for the front page, these are our expectations. Notice how there's already a photo gallery, and we will review that process during the training session. There's an announcements app, there's an upcoming events, and then there's a welcome app. And I will go through each and one of these. Now, if you do not have these, or if you deleted some by accident, please send me an email to let me know, and I will assist you with that task. So that is here, our expectations on the homepage. Also, I wanted to, we'll start with announcements. So I will click here on the announcements app. And notice how it gives you the option of adding a new announcement. So you will give it a title.
I've done that actually.
Now, one thing with announcements, notice how this gray area here says this title will display in some areas. That is true. Most of you will put it on that section on your front page, so the title announcements won't show. It'll only display whatever text you put in here. So let's do this. You also have to make sure that you hit enter a few times, only because of the area where it's located. It will only show the text that's here. And then you would go ahead and click on save. So now let's see what this will look like on our page. And again, everything that you add as far as content, make sure that you delete afters if you're just testing, because everything's live, so everyone can see this. So notice how we have here, this is a test. Since we're here, I wanted to make a point in regards to announcements. As a reminder, these are just announcements. Announcements should be 1 or 2 sentences long. You do not want to have a long text here just because of your template. Text should go here, and it's more of a welcome message to your school website. So just try to keep the announcements short. And again, I will review expectations about in regards to theme colors, but this color was already here. But you just want to make sure that the font doesn't get lost in the color, because I've seen a lot of that recently. And like the letter will be bright pink, the background's yellow, so people really can't read that. So that's in regards to announcements. And as you can see, you can add as many as you want. I mean, I would keep it maybe 3 at a time just because of that small space there. And then there's another tool that I wanted to show you. If you click on this, it'll inactivate that announcement, which means it's not necessarily deleted. I'm sorry. Can you turn off? I don't know if you can hear me, but if you could turn off your mic, because I'm hearing echo in the background. Just for the rest of us, thank you. You can activate or inactivate this announcement, and then you can also delete it, which is what I'll do right now, because again, everything's live, so we don't want people seeing a test announcement on Annie Morgan School. And then you can just click on yeah. Okay, so that was just a little bit of expectations in terms of the announcements on the home page. So notice how that app is here. Now the upcoming events app. This app is directly will pull events directly from your calendar, which we'll cover in just a second. But just so you know, if you do not have this app here, please make sure you let me know. Otherwise, if you really want to add this app, what you could do is if you go to Manage Apps and Layout, this gives you this gray area right here. And this is where you could drag and drop them. We do not want you
to call this number.
We do not want you to rearrange this the order of these apps, because these were already set.
Yes, ma'am. You have a son that goes to Forest. He's right here. Hold on 1 second. It's your mom, sweetie. He's in my classroom. Hold on 1 moment.
I'm sorry, whoever's there, can you mute your speaker and your mics? I'm sorry, your mic and your headset, please, because we can all hear the echo. Thank you. So you can just rearrange the apps here. If you made a mistake, you can always delete them by pressing X. So notice how it'll say remove this app. Once you're done, either you can add your apps through here, or you could just say I'm done. And this will bring you back to the home page. And again, we will review each and one of these individually, but I just wanted to give you an overview of what your homepage should look like. So now moving on to calendars, so that you could see, well, actually, before I show you calendars, let me go ahead and click here on that welcome message. So the welcome message looks like it's a Flex Editor app, and this is specifically the welcome message there on your homepage is just to add, any sort of text. I've seen that many of you have added videos, which is fine. However, just keep as a reminder that not everyone has
See you later.
an updated browser, so not everyone will be able to play that video right away. So maybe you might not want to put a video on your
You
home,
got his raisins and stuff.
but you want to add text. So let me go back here now to the, and then you remember to click on save. Okay. So now we're going to move on to the calendar. To get to the calendar, please make sure that you click on the white cloud. And once you're on the white cloud, you're going to click on the calendar. And then you're going to click on new event. And again, this is just a test. So now for start date, you want to make sure that it has today's date or the date that you want to add it. If you do not have an end time, you can check no end time. If it's an all day calendar, you want to check all day. But this is where it would start and this is where your calendar would end. Now, description is optional, so I'm just going to put, and then the field trip, you could select whichever color applies to you. Is there someone still that hasn't?
Okay.
Okay.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, the person that was just talking right now, if you could just mute your mic, please. Okay, so now we can go ahead. So this is where you would add the text, and then here's where you choose different labels. Right now, these are just by default from us. But if you have a specific color that you would want me to add, please let me know. Otherwise, you could just use any of these. So we're just going to do important events, and you're going to click on save. So notice how I have now a calendar event there on Wednesday. Now, in terms of expectations for calendar events, what we are hoping to see when we click on every school is to at least see this month populated. So events such as, I don't know, I've seen reading nights or PTA, anything that's relevant to your school. Make sure that you start adding events because these events are the ones that are displayed on your front page. So if I go here to home page, if I go to view website, these are the upcoming events that it'll display. So you want to make sure that this area is always populated, only because that is what others are currently seeing. So so that was in terms of the calendar. You can always click on that X to X out of it. And now I'm going to go and delete that event because remember, everything's live and I don't want people to see my test event. And you could just either hover over your event, which is my test. You click on delete and it asks you again, and then you click on yes. So that so far we've covered that homepage and the calendar events. Now moving back to that homepage. So notice how we've covered announcements, upcoming events. I showed you what should go in that welcome message. Next, I'm going to click on quick links. And again, if some of you do not have this app here, please let me know and I will add that for you. New link. So quick links is pretty much anything to an external site. It could be maybe a page with another within your own website. It could be to a Google page. Any sort of URL would go here. So the text for this website would be test, the address. Target gives you a few options, whether you want to do it on an open window or open on the same window. And then you would click on save. So notice how you have now a link here. And again, you can add as many as you want. So now let's see what that looks like. So remember, you can always click on view website. And notice how I have a test link under quick links. Since we're already here in this area too, I wanted to show you that district links are already populated by us. So we, by default, added this app to all schools. So please do not remove this app because we will continue to add new links or change the ones that are here. This is just kind of a district-wide app, just in case of parents in your school, but they want to see one of the district links, you can always point them out to this area here, as well as food service. So if there's a link that you think that it's a district-wide link that we are missing, you can always send me an email and I will add that to it. And again, this is where you would put your own school links. So let's go back to delete that one. And again, remember, you can make it inactive if you're not sure, or if you're going to go back to work on it, or you can just delete it. So going back, and remember, this cloud next to your school will always take you back to your home page. So going back to your school homepage, remember, you have the announcements. We've covered upcoming events are being generated through the calendar. So you want to make sure that you keep your calendar updated. You have your welcome message on your school that all schools should have, something there. You have your quick links, district links, and then maps and directions. You really don't have to do anything with that unless you notice that there's something that's different there. Just let me know. I'll change it for you. So now that we're here, I know before we move on to the front page slideshow, because this is a big request that we've been getting, I wanted to just go over what you currently already have here on your left menu, which these are called channels. So remember, you have channels, and each channel has a section. Today we're going to work under About Us. Notice when I clicked on About Us, it takes me to the section. So this, and if you see the red workspace, this means that this is where you would add more sections to your channels. So now that we're here, I just wanted to go through some of these. Were already created by us by default. So you want to make sure that you either add content to them if they're not relevant to your school. Maybe if you want to call it a different name than principal's page, feel free to do that. But the only thing that you can't do is delete or add more channels. But you can always delete or add more sections. So I just wanted to be clear in that channels are kind of set by default by us because it fits your template. Once we move to the new template, I think it's towards the end of October, you will not lose content at all. So everything you're working on right now, it's fine. Everything will transfer the same. But in regards to channels, if you were to delete one or add a new one, those will not come with you. So you want to make sure that you do not delete or change any of the ones that are currently here. But you can add as many sections as you want, and you can delete as many as you want. So let's go ahead and create a new section. Again, I'm just going to call mine test. You want to click on menu name so that it has the same name as your section. For the time being, until you're a little bit more advanced with all these tools, I would definitely recommend that you just stick to blank section because there are many other tools. But if you do not know the basics, it might get confusing and overwhelming. So I would just select blank section and then click on save. So once you click on save, notice how you already have a section there. So you still have to create a page within that section. Otherwise, I'm sure many of you have seen it. You will get that page not found or that white screen that says error. That's because it's missing a page. So what you want to do is click on that title. And then you would click on new page. So it's pretty self-explanatory that first you have to create a section in order to create a page. So I'm going to create new page. Now, again, you'll see that there's a whole list of different types of pages that you can do. However, for the time being, until I showed you new tools, which will, the more training sessions we have, the more we'll advance with those tools. Right now, I'm just going to recommend that you only select Flex Page Editor until you get more familiar with it or you watch some video tutorials to see what the other tools do. My page name is going to be test-2. And I'm going to click on save. So now I created a page under that section called test, and it'll tell me here. This is the name of my section, and here's my page. Just like a link or anything else, if you are not ready to copy and paste content there, you can always make it inactive, or you can delete it, but just do not leave it blank because we will know that it's just, you'll get that big white screen that says error, there's not a page here. So now that we're here, notice how this is very similar to that other welcome message, that Flex Editor app that you had on your front page. So it's just like your Word menu toolbar. So you have your font size, names, alignment, font change. This is what I'll do here. So this is where you would add text. And in this case, it really doesn't matter where you start. So on a Flex Editor page, there's a few things that you can do. One, you can copy and paste from Word. So you could use paste from Word clip art. You can also copy and paste it here, but remember, we are trying to keep similar fonts. So do not, stick to the typical ones, Times New Roman, just fonts that people will not have a hard time reading, because I've seen a lot of schools that changed it to cursive or to comic, or so some of those fonts are not the ones that we recommend by default, but you can always change the size and the font color here. So once we're here, I also want to show you something that's very important. Some of you I know will have to add PDFs. Now, if it's 1 or 2 documents, this is what you want to use, your Flex Editor. If it's more than that, there's another app called the Document Library, or the Library app, which is just to add documents. But I usually use this one to add documents because it's usually 1 or 2 that I'm adding. So this is how you would do that. You would click on this little icon here, insert file link, and then you would do upload file, browse. We prefer PDFs, so please make sure that you convert your files to PDFs before you upload them. Then you would click on open. The reason for that is because most people have different file extensions. Maybe some are Mac users, some are PC users. So if you upload a Word document, they'll still have to download that document before they can even view it. So you just want to make sure that it's a PDF. Then you're going to select on continue. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer than expected, so we'll just have to wait. Okay, link text. So this would be the title of your document. So I'm just gonna name mine test. Target. It'll tell you if you want to open it in a new window, if you want to open it on the same window. So this is up to you, or you just leave it by default. And then you would click on insert file. And notice how now you have your PDF there. Font size. I recommend that you do 2 by default, because that's what I did for all the school sites when we were first adding content. If it's too big, it's too overwhelming. If it's too small, people can't read it. So just try to stick to 2 if it's just regular text. If it's a title, then you have different styles here, different headings. But again, there's a few that you should just stick to for general font. Do not use Comic Sans, because that is not one of the fonts that we recommend for your school. So that's how you add a PDF. I'm also going to show you how to add maybe you have an external URL. Maybe you have a text that says useful science pages or math websites. This is what you would do. So once you click on the area where you want to add your URL, so I want to add it there, you would click on the insert link icon here. And it says your site, email address, web address, bookmark. So just so you know, you could also do this with the email address, but right for now, I'm going to work on web address. Again, I'm just going to test with it. And Target gives you the same options as the other ones. Then you would click on insert link. And now you have your URL within your text. One other thing, since we're in this page, that I wanted to show you is a picture. So this is not necessarily made for a slideshow, but just for a picture. Like for instance, maybe you have a principal's page and you want to add her picture, maybe tops 2 pictures, but you don't want to make you don't want to have more than more than 2 pictures in one page, because these pages aren't really meant for pictures. You want to use a photo gallery for pictures. If you wanted it to be more of a slideshow on the home page or just a gallery in general, you want to use a different app, but not the Flex Editor app. So to add one picture, you would click on Insert Image. And then you would click on, you could either do existing image, shared image, or upload image. I'm going to select one of my images to upload. So you would click on browse. I'm gonna make mine because I know that picture is pretty it's pretty large, so I'm gonna make mine relatively small. And so thumbnail size. Continue. Okay, you can again resize your picture here, alignment default, insert image. So notice how I have now my image here. You can add text under it or next to it. And also, if you forgot to, if you're change your mind and you want it center, all you have to do is just click on it and then use your menu toolbar here, and it'll center your picture. So I'm gonna save this picture just so that you can see what it would do. And this is what my picture would look like. So notice how now I have a page with text, PDF, a URL, a picture, and more text. So that's what you would do when you create pages. Now, having said this, please make sure that you review after the training all of your pages and get rid of that message that I left there for all of you that says under construction. If the page is not relevant to you, if it's just not the page that you want and that's why you haven't messed with it, you can always delete it, or you can even delete my section just like I'm about to do right now. I'm going to click on delete and it asks me again, delete. So I pretty much just wanted to cover pages just to one, show you what you could do with your pages, and two, to make sure that you start removing all of those messages that say under construction. If it's a page that you're working on, you can always remember, make it into an active or inactive page, but you do not need to leave that under construction message there anymore. So in terms of pages, please make sure that you add some content. So now moving on to, and again, for this part of the training, you could follow along, or if you feel pretty confident with all of these tools, you can also change it at the same time as I'm doing it. But we are going to change the front page slideshow. There are a few steps that you need to take, otherwise you won't see your slideshow or your template will break. So make sure that either you take notes in this part or you just follow along, because if you miss those steps, I have been fixing some of those templates that were broken. And when I mean broken, I mean that the global navigation icons here disappear, and parents use that to log into Great Portal. So this is what we'll start. First step is to click on Manage Apps and Layout. The next step would be to click on Add App. Once we are here, you would click on Photo Gallery App. Now here's an important thing. You want to make sure that you name this app the same as your school, and then you only create one. So if you do this once and it doesn't work for you, you can send me an email. Otherwise, you can create as many as 10 and it still won't work, and then we have to go back and delete every single one of them. So if your first one doesn't work, just send me an email, and it's probably because you skipped a step or a minor detail. So I'm going to name this app Annie Morgan. And now the other very important thing is the size. There's a specific width and height for your template that you currently have, so it has to be that width. Otherwise, again, you won't see your pictures. So make sure that the width is 726 times the height, which is 368. And this is exactly what I would do to every single school, just so that you remember what the measurements are. That way your front page slideshow works. So next you're going to click on Save. So notice that now you have two, and this is a big problem because nothing will display if you have two showing. So what you want to do, as soon as you have yours created here, you want to make sure that you now delete mine, which is rotating images. So you could just go ahead and click on the X, and then you click on yes. If you are not able to, just let me know, but you should be able to just click on X and it lets you. Once you're done deleting mine and adding yours, you would click on I'm done. Now notice that you have a photo gallery app here, which is great, but it's still missing a few steps in order for you to see the pictures. So you'd go ahead and click on Annie Morgan. I'm sorry, on your app. Now this is a step that many of you miss because you'll just click on Let's Get Started, which is a problem because your template has to have a 726 width. If you leave it at 600, it will not work and you will not see your picture. So you just need to make sure that it's 726. Also, once you click on Let's Get Started, it's too late for you to change it back. You would have to delete that app and create a new one to change it to 726 again. So just make sure that you do not skip that step. And then you would click on Let's Get Started. Now, you can do this before time, which is resizing all of your pictures and make sure they're all 726 by 368. Otherwise, again, it kind of looks weird on your template. So once you resize your pictures, you would click on Upload Photos. And you can click on Browse. You could select more than one at a time. And then once you have the ones that you want, then you would just click on Upload and it'll do one by one. And again, I would recommend that you have maybe between 4 to 5 pictures. You can always change them, but don't have maybe 10 at a time. Just try to keep them at 1 through 5 because it does take a while for the slideshow to load and it might slow down your site. So make sure that you have maybe tops 5, and then if you get tired of those 5s, you could change them for maybe like winter or Thanksgiving. So just make sure that you change those pictures every so often. So now I have 3 pictures here. And for those of you that want to know how to resize the pictures, it also has a tool here to resize each and every one of them. So you would click on Adjust Photo. And then you would click on Adjustment. And notice how you have many tools here, but if you want, you could just click on Resize. 726, sometimes it gives you the height already by default, but if you really want to just make sure that it's the same height, you need to make sure that you click on Keep Proportions, and then you change it to 368. Then you click on Apply and Save. And then you would click on Save again. And then you'll do the same thing with the next one. Please make sure that you mute your mics because we could hear everything. So, Adjustment, Resize, Apply, and Save. So this is how you would resize all of your pictures. Once you're done, there's one more step to do, otherwise you will not see your pictures. You would click on Options, make sure that the gallery width 726, and make sure that you change this to JSON, and click on Save. So now that you did all of those steps, you could finally just click on Publish, and then click on Yes. So what this will do is you now have a new front page slideshow. And I know many of you wanted to know how to do this step. Again, there's a video tutorial in this if you need to just use that as a reference. But those are pretty much the easy steps to change the pictures. So I wanted to review those main topics: front page, and then consistent fonts. Now in regards to theme colors, so we have a few schools that I would want to show you. For instance, I know the school hasn't changed their colors, but you want to make sure that oh, that's taking a while now to load. Okay, you want to make sure that you do not change these colors And because the background should always be black, otherwise the menu here starts disappearing. But you could change these to your own personal one. So maybe it's red and blue, but just make sure that it's not a pink on yellow, or that it just starts getting out of control, because we've seen that in many schools. There is a tutorial that I wanted to show you on my other on my YouTube channel. The link to share all of them is here, so I will copy it there. And again, I send a every Thursday there's a weekly report where I send the FAQs with links to my sessions. All these sessions are recorded, so everything that is said and done through these sessions, others could see and view. The purpose is so that for those of you that are not able to come, they can come at another time, or some principals maybe just want to check the sessions just to be updated with all the information. What I really wanted to cover is mainly just make sure that you have content on your schools, because if you don't hear it from me, you might hear it from parents. And since we're speaking of that, there's one other thing that I would like for all of you to do. If you do not have time to do it today, that's fine. I will have a tutorial on how to do that. But mainly here, once you get to your school, you would click on settings, and then you would click on contact. Make sure that this is your information. We no longer will leave this as webmasters at duvalschools.org. This has to be the information of the content manager of your school, because we get questions, specific questions to your school from parents. So you want to make sure they have your contact information. That way you can reply or answer to those questions. If it's not you, maybe it's the principal, but you just need to make sure that there is someone else's contact information other than just webmaster or webmaster. The phone number, I think by default, it's every school's phone number, but just make sure that this is your information. Once you change that, all you have to do is click on save. So it really doesn't take, it takes less than a minute to change that info, but make sure that it has your appropriate information. In terms of theme is important. I'm sorry, the theme colors, those are important. I know there are many options on how to do that. And again, you could see that in my video here, template changing color. But just make sure that you also add content and it's not just the colors that we're changing. And then consistent fonts, we've covered some of those. Just try to pick the ones that we selected for you by default. The announcements homepage. So mainly, as long as you keep this area here busy with upcoming events, calendar, quick links, and then as long as you get rid of the under construction. So notice this is a good example of under construction. If you need some ideas, if you're wondering, well, maybe which school should I go to that has some complete content that you need to reference to, I found one of the schools that I really liked what they had, which is this school right here. So notice she changed their colors, but she pretty much has information everywhere. So everything that there's content everywhere. You can add pictures. She even linked this to an external site, which is fine, because I know some of you have other pages. But for the most part, there's just something on every page. Another school that I saw that had content too was Sandalwood, and there's many. So these are just some of the ones that I could think right now. So Sandalwood High School. So notice they have a welcome message. They keep changing this actually really often. They have upcoming events. Just they don't have quick links, which is fine because that's not a mandatory thing to have. But they have content. So again, you don't have to necessarily have pictures or anything fancy. But if you just have some content there, it's better than under construction. And again, I know many of you have questions. For instance, someone asked, can you delete academic programs? Anything that's under here, which is a section, yes, you can delete. The ones that you cannot delete are the channels, which is about us, contact us, parents, students, staff, programs, athletics. But you can always delete or add more sections here. So I know you had a question, and I know someone else says, do all photos have to be JPEGs? Yes, preferably, only because if it's a different file extension, it might not let you upload them. And also, if it's not a high resolution picture, it will not look like this. I've seen them, it looks like it's just been stretched out. So just make sure that you have the pictures resized and that they're kind of high resolution. So can we add our own pictures to section A? So section A, when you say section A, you're talking about, let's go back here to show everyone else. So section A, yes, these are your own pictures. The ones that I was using today for the training are just for everyone else to see how they're uploaded. Those are just literally test pictures. I mean, you're more than welcome to keep those, but those are just test pictures. Okay, if you do not have login information, okay, I will get to that. But just as a reminder, your login information should be your same username that you use to access Outlook and the same password that you use to access Outlook. Staff information page should already be updated. So many of you, unless you deleted my page, should have the school staff directory, and that takes you here. If you do not see this, please let me know. If there are people here that shouldn't be here, that's an HR issue because all I get is a list and I just upload the list. But HR should have that updated if they're active. So that's where we are at here. Also, every school should have a PTA page by now, whether it was created by me or you guys created it yourselves. But they should have a PTA page now. Pretty soon you will be contacted by the PTA staff member that will work one-on-one with you as to adding content there. One more thing that I wanted to cover. Is in regards to giving rights to others. Please make sure that either you copy your principal or that email comes from your principal, which is preferably that way. That way we know who's giving access to which sections. I would need to have a name of the person. So, for instance, Jane Jones, her email address, and also I need to know which section because we can't have more than one sub-site director, but we could have multiple section editors. So maybe you want Jane Jones to be a section editor of parents. So then you would say that in an email, please add Mrs. Jones under the parent section. And then she would have access to all of this, but she would not be able to change everything else. So that's what we're trying to keep some level of organized hierarchy. So we have the sub-site director, which is you. Sometimes there's two. And then we have the rest are section editors. So you could have a section editor. You could also have, I've had many people to just ask for rights to just for the calendar homepage. So you can delegate so that one person is over the calendar and the homepage, but everyone else is but you're the only one responsible of that content. Also, this would probably be a great time for you to meet with your principal to see what content your principal wants to see on the website because you want to make sure that he or she is very much aware of the content that's on your website. At the end of the day, I have a name on my list, and that's the person that I would contact if there's something in the school that's not supposed to be posted in the school. But you need to make sure that your principal is very much aware of what everyone else is doing. If there's people that are in charge of other sections, they just need to know that part. Now, if there are any other questions, please make sure that you send me an email. And also remember that every Wednesday we have these web sessions. We review pretty much the same tools, but I will start showing you new tools for those of you that have already attended previous web sessions. But just so you know, there's many video tutorials again on my YouTube page where you can review them. And I usually send the invite on Mondays that we have enough time to sign up before Wednesday. So if you have no other questions, thank you for joining our session, and I will see you again next Wednesday. Thanks.